and Ho Chi Minh is appointed Prime Minister of North Vietnam. And now at the top of the hour we have the new single from hot young upstarts, the Crew Cuts. It's
Dispatch to Barros, requesting backup on a 1059. Detective Barros, come in. Ray, I know you're there, come in.
No can do, Connie. I'm taking a well-earned siesta. I'm run ragged.
Ray, we're all hands on deck here. This weather's kicking up all sorts of chaos, and the man needs an escort.
I'm aware. Come on, sweetheart. You know how many all-nighters I pulled in the past week. Can't I catch a break?
Fine. I'll buy you a few hours. But Ray, you be back here at 10. On the dot. No excuses. Or I'm sending someone to that damn bowling alley to collect you. Capiche?
Loud and clear, boss. Keep 'em in line, Connie.
Sundown Theatre presents Murder at Action Lanes. Original script by Julia Bodiford, Ryan DeVilla, Jacob Drum, Lindsay Hall, Robert Linder, Matt McNabb, and Kelsey Smith. Created and directed by Kurt Van Zandt. Allow us, dear listeners, to take you to a small 4-lane bowling alley in a dingy, dark part of some unnamed city. The year is 1954, at the peak of the American obsession with 10-pin bowling. Tonight, a storm is descending on Action Lanes as we follow Detective Raymond Barros into this seedy sporting establishment. Prepare yourself, dear listener, for something far more sinister than a simple salacious scandal and sin.
How is my favorite upstanding man of the law on this fine night?
Wet, overworked, thirsty. Action Lanes Bowling. It's a cute little place on the corner of 5th and Main. The blinking red of the neon bowl sign lit up the parking lot. Didn't matter if it was Friday night or Easter Sunday. The place was always bopping. I don't bowl myself, never have. I was here for one reason and one reason only. Well, two. The first being a stiff drink. I'm fine, Scarlett, I'm fine. And how's the best barmaid in bowling?
Peachy. It's going to be quite the game tonight. Plenty of drama to keep the business good and drinks flowing.
Speaking of drinks...
Oh, but Detective, surely you're still on the clock? Just pulling your leg, Ray. Old-fashioned coming right up.
There's my girl. Scarlett Jacobs, one of the only good ones in this godforsaken hole. Brighter than Sally and his entire crew by miles. They say she's got a brilliant mechanical mind hidden behind the apron and smile, and that she's always the smartest one in any room she's ever been in. Can't say I blame her for keeping people in the dark, though. She's seen more of the bidding wars and dirty politics of the mobs in this town than she ought to. Now that she was here, she'd be smart to keep her past behind her. I can't help but think it's a far less than lateral move, but damn, she makes a drink that could knock Churchill on his ass.
Here you go, hun.
Ah, thank you. Cheers.
You actually meeting Janet tonight? Or just waiting around and hoping again?
Beats the beat, my dear. Let an old man be. 5 straight days of rain, chaos, and sleepless nights. I should really have taken this time to head home, crash out on the couch for 40, 50 winks. But old habits die hard, and Janet Savella is the hardest habit of them all to quit. The smokes and booze, I could go cold turkey on them all, but Janet is a whole other story. Crowded lanes already. A thin haze of cigarette smoke owns the place. Degenerates with deep pockets placing their bets, players stretching and saying their prayers. The DJ, where he always was, nested behind the lanes on an ancient plywood stage. The night was just beginning, and I could smell trouble already. Just wish there were another place I'd rather be than here. No one makes an old-fashioned quite like you, Scarlett.
You're the only one square enough to order one. You know Manhattans are all the rage now.
Never heard of it. Sounds like some beatnik jargon to me. Manneman's bourbon, straight from God's country. Appalachian Mountains. Reminds me of my old town.
Excuse me, sir. You know, I've seen you drinking the past 4 nights in a row, and if I can see you...
Yeah, the Lord can see it too.
My son...
Not your son, pal.
This den of iniquity is no place for any upstanding man to be, especially not with the devil's drink present.
And what nosebleed gave you the impression that I was upstanding?
You, my son, are a man of the law. You should conduct yourself in a manner befitting that, and befitting the good Lord. For as it says...
Look, I've sat through you bashing my ears for 4 nights. Never bothered you. Just tried to enjoy my drink. I'll leave before I go ape and give you a real talking to, huh?
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures.
What the hell are you doing here if this fat city is so terrible?
I do the good Lord's work wherever I shall trod. Though my soul may grow heavy with the burden, it is my duty to protect those that I can from the evils of drink, drugs, and immorally dressed easy temptresses.
I heard that. You itching for a switch in there, mister?
I'd pay good money to see that tussle. Scarlett don't take lip, not even from a man of the cloth.
Come, my children, let us pray for your souls.
Grab my hand again, preacher, and it'll be a fist reach and not a spoon.
Good Lord in heaven, forgive them, for the unholy ways of Tenpin have befouled their hearts and minds. May the wicked tendrils of alcohol release their hold on this man, and may the woman find a husband who will put her on the track of righteousness.
Who says I want to get circled at all?
My poor child. The greatest achievement any woman can hope to aspire to is to care for a home and bear children for a man.
I already got 1 ankle biter. Last thing I need is a whole mess of curtain climbers.
By all that is holy in mine soul, Lord, she has debased herself, a bastard child. Truly, both these wayward souls need your infinite wisdom more than I had thought.
Get your hand off my shoulder before I...
Well. Look at the wet rag the cat dragged in. An evangelical preacher and a crooked cop walk into a bowling alley. Sounds like a great setup to a bad joke. What do you reckon's the punchline, Zeke?
If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. My rightful, God-given name is Ezekiel. And once again, you have forced my hand. I have come tonight to warn
Yeah. I've heard the rest at least 1,000 times, too. Enough of the sermonizing, Zeke. You're bringing the whole place down. Either order a stiff drink to loosen that stick up your ass, or beat it. That's what I thought you'd say. Get out of my bowling alley, pal. Heck, skip town altogether if the mood strikes.
Sally Hogan, the charming fresh face of an up-and-coming crime organization. The Irish immigrants' answer to La Cosa Nostra. But I look the other way. If Sally ever wasn't at Action Lanes, he'd be there within the hour, and with Mickey, his muscle. Mickey was a stern man of few words, but Sally, as you'll see, was quite the opposite.
Raymond, how's things? Hoping to catch some scratch at our big game tonight? It's gonna be quite the barn burner, I think. Lots of action, or, perhaps you're waiting on a different kind of action, eh?
Yeah, you're a real card, Sally boy, but I'm not taking the bait. My affairs are my own.
Oh, of course, pal, of course. Hey, Scar, how are you, doll? Another round for the detective here, yeah? And I'll wet my whistle, too, while you're at it. Look, detective, you're welcome here every damn night of the week if you'd like it. The longer you stay, the crookeder you get. And well, let's just say I can see that working out in my favor, right? Ah, you're an angel, Scar.
Mm-hmm.
I might be here for a lot of reasons, but you can bet that none of them stand to benefit you. For all you know, I've got some buddies staked out in the parking lot, and I'm gathering evidence to prepare for your imminent arrest.
Oh, woo! I forgot how funny you are, Raymond. Ever considered a career in comedy? Might be a better fit for you, pal. All right, you enjoy that drink, and get into as much trouble as you like, yeah? I've got a meeting to get to. Mickey, with me. Let's hit it.
All apple butter and no bacon, that one. Don't let him get to you, Ray.
You know I won't. I'd tell you the same, but I know you can take care of yourself. The second that rat bastard pushes an inch too far, you call me, Scarlet. Deal?
It's a deal, detective.
I watched Sally walk away towards his private office in the back, leaving me alone at the bar. Alone at a bar, waiting for a woman that isn't coming. They say Janet's father, Big Boss Savella, is losing his grip, so to speak. The Savellas have been on top in this town for 50 years, making a mint procuring bootleg moonshine and setting up underground casinos, brothels, and clubs for the decadent rich. Sally took half the city from the Savellas, right from under their noses, and he did it without even a fraction of their political influence. He did it by making the people like him. The capital P, people. The people who make the money, not just the ones who end up with it. He offered protection and partnership to small businesses out of the Savella's good graces. And of course, like the Caesars of Rome, he provided the bread and circuses, including getting his claws into action lanes, modernizing it, and bringing the talent in for these tournaments. He lures the richest fish out of the Savella's casinos, and pretty soon his control in this town will be complete. It occurs to me that Janet might be picking up on some of Sally's wisdom. Her father might be a drooling vegetable, but she, at least, is still capable of learning new tricks. Sally has made it clear that in the television age you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Hell, Janet set a honey trap for me in that club all those years ago, and now she gets a public show of police muscle from me on her side everywhere she goes. Maybe that's why she always feels safe going deep in Sally's territory like this without any of her father's goons for protection. Sally may have the unions, the businesses, and the bowling alley, but he doesn't yet have the cops. I look down and see that some pathetic drunk has finished my drink. Probably me. I decide I'm done sitting here and waiting for Janet to come to me. If I had any self-respect, I would put an egg in my shoe and beat it. But since I don't, I can at least go find her. Bet she'd never expect that from me. Here's $1, Scarlet. Keep the change.
Leaving already, Ray?
I know. What a shock. Just keep my seat warm for me. I'll be back. Probably for the rest of the bottle. Sweet Scarlet picks up the coins I dropped on the bar and watches me leave. She's the best-built thing in this ramshackle place. Hell, the place is wired so bad that every time the thunder crashes, the lights dim a little. This doesn't rattle the DJ's cage at all, and the party never stops. But I shudder to think of what might happen in this mini-Gomorrah if the lights went out.
Tonight's the night, folks. We've got sweet tunes, cold brews, and a stacked lineup of players for tonight's big match. On lane 1, we've got Barbara Babs Turner, Lenny Lightning LaRue on lane 2, and reigning champ Bobby BB Gun Baldwin on lane 3. Until the game starts and I start calling shots, here's a little music to keep things hot.
They don't make a production of it, but I can tell that the rest of the patrons have clocked me moving away from the bar, and most of them sidestep away as they see the gloomy gumshoe heading in their direction. I know none of them would tell me where Janet is, if they even know, but I catch bits and pieces of conversation as I pass.
I can feel it. Tonight's the night BB gun misfires. It's raining cats and dogs out there, and I know that Lightning LaRue is going to strike them all dead tonight. Strongest bowling arm on the continent.
Life moves pretty fast, Hiram, old buddy.
Shut up. I hate that name. I didn't drop out of rabbinical school and place 5th in the Masters League match in 52 not to be called the goddamn High Roller. Do you understand?
Sure, Hi. Don't have a cow. We've all dropped out of school here. I was just telling Sally, and you should always bet on the prettiest girl. That Babs Turner is going to be the one to jam up BB gun tonight. I've put half my trust fund on her.
You're wrong. You've got to be wrong. Lightning LaRue is my chance to finally get out from under Sally's thumb. He's been holding my debt over me for years, always eyeballing my Bentley Continental. Well, he's not sending me to the poorhouse with his pet bowler tonight. Tonight's the night Sally Hogan gets struck by lightning.
God, I'm sweating sugar. Ready to rock this. Where the hell is Janet?
Relax, Barb. You're gonna do fine, whether she's here or not.
I'm just worried, Viv. She's been gone all night, and Sally's creeps are all over the place. This was supposed to be her big night, and I wouldn't put anything past them.
You ladies should be ashamed of yourselves, cavorting in a devil's den like Action Lanes, and wearing pants like a couple of Jezebels, drinking and gambling and miscegenation to top it all. Get down on your knees and beg for Christ's forgiveness. Return home to your husbands and sin no more!
You're cruising for a bruising, mister. I don't get on my knees for Jesus or any other man.
Barbara, come on.
The most promising lead I had on Janet, and it was interrupted by that pill of a preacher. Barbara Babs Turner was Janet's champion, like BB gun was for Sally. I wondered how much Babs knew about Janet's real business, how dangerous it could be. Certainly Babs's friend Vivian never seemed quite at ease in this seamy bowling alley during the tournaments, but looking at pale, tomboyish Babs together with quiet, dark-skinned Vivian, the way one of them would always seem to find the hand of the other, I thought they might have had the kind of life where not much can scare you anymore. But I wasn't going to overhear any more about Janet from Babs. She looked like she was working herself up to rearrange the preacher's teeth. It was time to vacate the area. As a cop, it might be my responsibility to save the old God-bothering fool, and I just didn't want to. I doubted I had the upper body strength to pull Babs off him in any case. I made my way closer to the lanes and saw a rough and ragged kid I didn't know bending the ear of the best bowler at the lanes, a barely 17-year-old Bobby BB Gun Baldwin, Sally's champion.
Come on, BB Gun. I'm home now, I'm back, and I want to ask Scarlett to marry me, but she won't want me if I'm a bum. You're tight with Sally. You're the only one who can help me.
Listen, Dan, I got a game to get ready for. I'm just the talent. If you've got a recommendation for how to run the place, take it up with Fishface. Sally and I got more important things to worry about.
But you got your start at Action Lanes when I was a pin boy. You know I'm faster than that pin setting machine. Weren't the games more exciting before they ruined it with all these clanging gadgets?
Whether or not you're faster than that there steam drill, the fact remains that the pin setter and the ball return work for free, and they don't flirt with the bartender. It's called progress. We made a lot in this town while you was off fighting. We grew up. And now you want a job at Action Lanes. Like I said, you gotta take it up with Fishface.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear, and in this case his smell preceded him.
Danny boy! Welcome back to the lanes! Pick up anything fun from those whores overseas? I remember when I was a young man fighting the Kaiser. I got a case of the collapse so nasty it was dripping from every hole.
Hi, Gus. Good to see you.
Gus Fishface Grundle, degenerate of the highest order. Ostensibly the owner of Action Lanes, on paper anyway. He did start it himself, at least, promptly ran it into the ground. Sally brought the place back to life. You remember I said he was good with the bread and circuses. Sally gets a modest cut from all the gambling that goes on in this place, which might add up to a true fortune. On top of all that, Fishface is happy to cut Sally in on the drink sales because of all the business Sally's tournaments brings in, along with protection from the Savellas, the police, and the Department of Sanitation, of course. Fishface could never have afforded this new cutting-edge pin-setting machine and ball return without Sally's backing. Sally also runs a small distribution rings for dirty books, illegal in this state, at least until the Supreme Court rules otherwise, and lets Fishface have his first pick.
I remember you being a hard worker before you left, Danny. I'd be happy to set a fellow vet up with a steady job if I had one. But now that machines can set the pins and women can tend the bar, it just don't make business sense to pay a man's wage for that kind of thing. I'm sure I can find you some odd jobs from time to time, though, until you're back on your feet. I got a nickel socked away for you if you muck up all the shitters. The one in my office needs attention immediately.
In perfect timing with this vile pronouncement, the thunder clapped as loud as a shotgun blast, and the lights flickered rapidly on and off 3 times. In the blinking light, I surveyed Action Lanes. An unholy hive of scumbags, wise guys, hustlers, whores, failures, outcasts, and misfits. A rotting tooth in the diseased mouth of this gasping, desperate city. A perfect encapsulation of a post-war America at the declining end of its great industrial age, with obscene wealth rubbing elbows with desperation, debt, and violence, like a carnival in hell. And I hated myself for feeling so perfectly at home there.
So-called, ladies and gentlemen, this is the doo-wop devil carrying all these souls of the damned through the storm tonight. I know none of you want to miss a second of the big tournament that'll be starting momentarily, so I encourage you to load up your glasses with booze from the bar now before you lose all your money on bad bets. Here's one last song from the Cadillacs before the real action starts.
As the beat starts swinging, I see the woman I've been waiting on for what seems my entire life coming out of the back office with Sally. I should have known. She was here for business, and I was just her insurance. Sally was looking gregarious as ever, but Janet had a look on her face that could kill a man if she turned it in his direction. Whatever business she had with Sally must not have gone the way she had expected. Sally made a beeline for BB gun. Janet scanned the room like Medusa, looking to make a fresh set of statues, and locked her viper's gaze onto me. I suddenly and desperately craved another drink.
Ray.
Evening, Janet. I'm flattered you remember me.
You should be. A lot of men want my attention.
If this is attention, I'd hate to see how you treat the guys you forget about.
I never forget, Ray.
Or you seem to have forgotten telling me that you loved me.
Oh, I remember it well, but Raymond, darling, if you believe every woman who says she loves you after a roll in the hay, then you deserve the heartbreak.
Sally looks pretty happy. You tell him you love him just now?
Oh, hush. We were just working out an arrangement for Action Lanes.
Well, what kind of leverage do you have to get anything from Sally, aside from a washed-up detective at your beck and call?
I've got plenty of leverage, and if Sally doesn't recognize that, he might not have long to regret his lack of vision.
I guess you don't need me then. I should head back to the station. Believe it or not, I still have a job to do.
You're lousy at your job, Ray. You always have been. Remember that first night I found you half gone in my father's speakeasy and dragged you back to your place? Anyone in the joint could have taken your gun from you and put your lights out for good. And they would have if I hadn't been so juiced myself that I took a shine to that face of yours.
Well, we can certainly both agree I'm not much to look at. How I caught your eye, I'll never know, but I seem to recall that I showed you a good time.
Then you really were too loaded to remember anything about that night.
No, I remember. The Sunlight Social Club. What a joke of a name. It was a dark place, dingy. The place was Antsville, crawling with germs just trying to escape their mundane home lives of bills, nagging spouses, and crying babies. A night away to pretend to be someone else for a change. Not for me. The sunlight was where I went to be myself, to find answers at the bottom of a bottle just to forget them the next morning. The job was hard. Working a beat takes any hope you have and leaves you alone with reality. It was thankless, but it was all I knew. My long, hard pull from the bottle was interrupted suddenly by a voice as smooth as velvet calling to me.
Easy there, Tiger. It's not a race.
Sorry, sweetheart, I'm not looking for company.
That's too bad. You sure do look like you could use a friend.
I turned to her and instantly had the wind knocked clean from me. She didn't look real. The room around her danced and spun. I was drunk, but that had nothing to do with it. She was the only softness I had seen in this godforsaken town. She was marble, painfully composed, but inviting as silk. Everything except for her eyes. Her eyes were like daggers looking right through me. I'd offer you some of my drink, but it looks like I just finished it.
That seems so. I've been watching you. What's eating you, detective?
You writing a book? How did you know I was a detective? Do we know each other?
Well, of course I know you. You're Raymond Barros. You keep this town clean and make ladies like me feel safe at night.
She didn't take her eyes off me. They were brown and endless, but sparkled like diamonds. Well, I suppose I don't need to introduce myself, but I'm afraid I still don't know who you are.
Janet. Janet Savella.
Savella? I knew the name. I knew it well. Everyone did. And everyone had an equal amount of fear and admiration for it. For all the fun, carefree gatherings, the booze, the bets, there was dark, dark justice. We all knew it was best to be on the big boss's good side, because being on the other end meant you likely wouldn't wake up the next morning. Janet kept her eyes on me, studying me like prey. I should have gotten up, stumbled right out of the club, and never looked back. But her gaze had captured me and held me in my seat.
Don't worry. I won't bite.
If I'm looking at your pedigree, I'm not too sure, sweetheart.
We aren't so different, you know. You and I.
With her long, slender fingers, she plucked the last remaining ice cube from her glass and wetted her lips. For the first time, she had taken her eyes off me, and I longed for them to return. I found my voice again and asked, "How's that, doll? From where I'm sitting, I can't say I agree."
No. Both prisoners to our roles. Birds in a cage, tired of singing. Ready to fly, maybe.
She dropped the ice cube and leaned in close to me. Everything stood still, and I couldn't breathe. The most vivid moment of my miserable life.
Don't you want to get away, detective?
Time stopped, and we were glued to that moment. For a while, neither of us said a word. Then she broke the silence with a laugh.
You're drunk, Ray.
I suppose you hit the nail on the head. Might be time to head home. Our place is around the corner.
I'm on my way out. Let me walk you there.
And after that? Surely you don't plan on walking home alone. It's dangerous at night.
Well, then I suppose you'll just have to keep me safe. You will, won't you? Keep me safe.
We left the bar, and she took my arm as we walked the several blocks to my apartment. My vision was dizzy, and I'm not sure we said a word. I turned the key in my door. The place wasn't much, perhaps even darker and smokier than sunlight. Certainly not a home fit to bring anyone to. I can't remember much of the evening after that. I remember the rhythm of heaving chests and the sudden weight of the hour setting in. I could hardly keep my eyes open. I felt her follow my lead and lay her head on me, listening to the beat of my heart getting slower and slower. I started to fade away, and the last words I heard her say were,
Sleep, Ray. We'll take care of each other.
I dreamt of Janet that night. We were on an empty beach, far, far away from anyone, walking hand in hand. But with each step she somehow got further and further away from me until I couldn't see her anymore. But when I woke up the next morning, she was gone.
Oh, Ray. Don't look at me like that with your big puppy eyes. Breaks my heart. Come sit with me, the game's starting.
I need a drink.
Make that too.
Yeah? And just what are you prepared to do, Ezekiel?
Whatever is necessary.
Look, Mickey, my knees are shaking in my boots.
All bark and no bite.
We shall see, Samuel. We shall see.
Samuel, huh? Always wondered where Sally came from.
And you better forget it, Detective. Can I buy you a drink?
Why not, Sally? After all, you bought practically everything else in this stinking city.
Perfect. Scar, get the man whatever he wants, and a martini for the lady too, huh? Nice to see her sitting with you.
Well, promise to forget that, and I'll promise to forget Samuel.
It's a hell of a deal, Detective.
Good luck tonight.
Don't need it, Raymond. Don't need it.
Here you are, doll.
How chivalrous.
Whoa, kid. You're jumpier than a kangaroo at Upton Park, midweek.
Sorry, Sal, you scared me.
Well, chin up, BB gun, 'cause tonight's a big one. Nothing to sweat, though. You could beat these jokers in your sleep. One hand tied behind your back, right? Right?
Damn right.
That's the BB I know. Come here, kid. Let me see your shirt a minute. It's time for your good luck charm. Gotta let every schmuck here know who your sponsor is. Now, generally, you wear a boutonniere on an actual coat, but I think it'll do just fine right here above your shirt pocket, eh? Yeah, now that's sharp.
Wow, that smells sweet. Kinda like
chocolate?
Yeah, actually.
The chocolate Cosmo. Pretty rare. These girls don't even grow in the wild anymore. Rare flower for a rare night. Only fitting, yeah? Now shake off the funk. Let's win this thing. Hands up. Big celebration in your honor if you pull this off, kid. As always.
As always. Sure.
Ladies and gents, cool cats and daddy-os, and even the sissies and squares over there, this is your DJ Dandy Randy, the doo-wop devil, here to guide you, to slide you into the action of this game. I hope you're ready, got your whistles wet and your billfolds loosened, because this game is gonna get started here quicker than the wind from a duck's ass. Oh, I'd say pardon my language, ladies, but it's high time you accept the deal you've dealt yourself by walking through those doors. This ain't your regular bowling alley, brave spectators. This is Action Lanes. Our game is off to a hot start, folks. After a great first frame by Babs Turner, next up to the lane is none other than Lenny Lightning LaRue. I can't help but wonder if he's responsible for the storm tonight. Folks, Lenny is known for his lightning speed and unpredictability. Maybe with each clap of thunder we hear, he's gaining just that much more power and strength. And ooh, now watch out! Wowee, that's a strike, ladies and gents. Too bad. So sad for Lightning and his benefactors that strike happened to be in the wrong lane. I wish I could say this was the first time he's done that. No, I don't actually. It's funny every time.
Damn it, Lenny! Get it together!
Next up, my pals, my ghouls and gals, is Babs Turner. Babs rose from relative obscurity to be this game's girl to beat. Well, the only girl to beat. Did you know that she used to work here? Swear on my heart it's true. She was serving up cocktails, burgers, and pretzels long before she was serving up turkeys and trick shots.
Hey. Hi.
Now Babs always takes a moment to level her stance and there it is, take a nice deep breath in before she...
Baby, yes!
Oh, smooth like butter, folks. That is a Brooklyn strike. Impressive. Babs Turner's on her game tonight. Can't gush for too long, though. A true artist is stepping up to the line. The youngest action bowler to remain undefeated 20 games in a row, discovered at just 14 years old right here in this very fine, if questionable, establishment, Bobby BB Gun Baldwin. And we see now his trademark spin and flourish before, bit of a rough spin on that one, and oof, that is gonna hurt, folks. BB's starting off with a 7-10 split. Old Sally ain't looking too happy about that. Let's see if the little guy can save it. Oh, esteemed audience, that is not the kind of start you'd expect out of BB Gun, not at all. Looks like he ain't shooting straight tonight.
Tighten it up there, Bobby. Cock it back and fire, baby.
Don't you worry, Sally. I'm just warming up.
This game is flying by, and so far the only casualties Lenny Lightning's throws have been 2 beer glasses and Mickey's hat. Not a bad night, all things considered. And he's managed to eke out a few strikes in the correct lane, no less. Lenny is light years behind his competitors, but when he hits, boy, does he hit. See, folks, this is usually how it goes. By the 6th frame, BB Gun holds a steady lead and has conned a handful of gullible gamblers out of a crisp bill or two, but not so tonight, my friends. Babs Turner leads the game by 20 points, and it just doesn't seem like that lead is going anywhere but up. All right, we've got Lenny up again in 2 shakes. Gird your loins, people. He's got his ball now in his oh.
This one's for you, Paw.
Whoa, another wild one, but he did land some pins at least. Oh, and now a quick announcement from the lovely lady Scarlett herself. Sally, your food's ready and is waiting at the bar. Going on 10 minutes now. Scarlett adds, and I quote, "Don't flip your wig when it's cold." Straight from the lady herself. I gave her that accent. She doesn't have it. Sally, go get your food. And we're back, folks. Babs is really and truly and earnestly on fire tonight. That is her 5th strike so far this game, and 3rd in a row. Can she turn this turkey into a bagger? Oh, and she does it. BB Gun has got to be sweating through his britches at this point. Speaking of devil, etc., the young hotshot happens to be up next. But I'm not seeing the trademark flourish. Let's see. Looks like Bobby BB Gun Baldwin doesn't have his ball back yet. The ball hasn't come back up the ball return, folks. This is a new dilemma I've yet to see. And you know I'm here every game. Looks like pin boys might not be a thing of the past. After all, if these newfangled machines can't return a simple ball. But while we wait for technology to catch up to us, this seems like a great time for a little musical interlude.
Don't worry, Hepcats. I have just the thing for times like this. Got an old turn-crank phonograph around here somewhere.
Everybody cool it already. It's just a damn power outage. Dan, where are you at? You remember where the office is, yeah? Go flip the breaker and everything will be peachy, alright?
Hope you didn't have a lot of money on this one, Janet.
Oh, don't fret, old man. I'm sure we'll be rolling again real soon. I'm gonna feel my way to the bar while the action's on hold.
In the din of the blackout, people scattered, checked in with their cliques, posses, and goons. I lost track of the voices milling about, my mind at least a sheet to the wind, fixated on the thought of Janet's long fingers feeling carefully around not the dingy walls, but my yearning chest. God damn her. Thinking back now, I wish I had stayed sharp. Stupid.
See? It's nothing. I got a lot of money riding on this one. Oh, that's better.
Everyone settled back into their seats. It had been all of 5 or 6 minutes, but everyone was shaken. Something had changed. Each lost soul waited expectantly for the new, shiny ball return to slowly churn back into gear and give BB Gun his final fray. Oh no.
Well, ladies and gents, cool cats and bad acts, it appears that food was going cold on the counter for a damn good reason. Sally Hogan's severed head has just rolled right on out of the ball return. Unbelievable, just unbelievable. And folks, please disregard my usual inclination for gruesome metaphor and hyperbole. No, folks, what you are witnessing here is very real. Murder, I say. There's been a murder at Action Lanes.
This has been a Sundown Collaborative Theatre production. Tune in August 21st for the next installment of Murder at Action Lanes. For early access and bonus content, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/sundowntheater.